part of the problem is, you asked earlier, the breakdown of law and order. The breakdown of law and order has been institutionalized by the Democrat Party and their media. It's been institutionalized by them. And the media is so racist now. We don't have a free press. We have a tyrannical press. All you have to do is spend a couple hours watching MSLSD or CNN, what I call the Constipated News Network, and you'll see it. It's very, very quick. They talk about white justice, systems set up for white people. That's Joy Reid and her limited brain capacity. Then there's another one in there, Tiffany, I think her name is. She's trying to outdo Joy Reid. But this is a company, MSNBC, that's owned by Comcast. I just want everybody to know that out there. They own NBC and Comcast. And AT&T, well, they own CNN. So these huge corporations, these corporatists, they think they're buying silence by siding with these Marxists, these kooks, these radicals. And in fact, what's happening is the media in this country, they're destroying this country. Rittenhouse case involved 3 white men, all felons. That's the commonality. 1 white teenager, Rittenhouse, a white judge, white prosecutors, and white defense counsel. And somehow it was racist. That's pretty sick. Waukesha, you have another felon. So the 3 people shot in the Rittenhouse case were all felons. The individual who mowed down innocent human beings the other night, he's another felon. Who is it that seeks the felon vote? Who is it that seeks to have felons as part of their base? Who is it, Bernie Sanders, who said that he thinks people still serving time should vote, whether they're on death row or the rapists or whatever? So this is part of the Democrat Party base. That's why their media jump out front and always defend the felons against earnest Americans. And the Democrat Party campaigned for that vote. And the Democrat Party and their surrogates in the media, they confuse vigilantism with good Samaritanism. Kyle Rittenhouse was a good Samaritan. He wasn't a vigilante. Everybody knows what a vigilante is. But here's what the racist media on MSNBC and CNN did not report. That is the slaughter that takes place in our cities. Largely black-on-black crime, largely young black men killing young black men. It never passes their lips in this white-dominated society. It's an amazing thing. CRT, white-dominated society. But we have a real problem of the kind of mayhem and slaughter that's taking place in our cities. I just want to know why on MSLSD and the Constipated News Network, why they claim to be so concerned and yet they don't cover any of this. If I hadn't read this, what I just read to you would not be on any national television program, not one. Why aren't people concerned about felons roaming around? Why aren't they concerned about, Joy Reid says, the whites are concerned about property rights, you know, because that's what the nation was founded on. Maybe next time she negotiates her contract, she can remember that because she seems to be into property too. But all that said, it's not that. It's not about a white dominant society. It's not about corrupt judges or corrupt police or corrupt juries. It's about a culture in decline. And the culture in decline is led by the racist media in this country, which appears by these giant corporations, whether it's Comcast, AT&T, whether it's Bezos over the Washington Compost or whatever it is. They cannot hire enough reprobates, malcontents, and miscreants who hate this country, who undermine this nation, who do not care for law enforcement, because when they go home, they're not going into these communities. It's like professional sports. They run around with stuff on their sneakers and on their shirts, and they think they're revolutionaries. Meanwhile, they support communist China. They won't say a damn thing about the Uyghurs being slaughtered, the Christians being rounded up, the Tibetans being killed, but they'll talk about slavery that occurred 150, 200 years ago. We can talk about that, but what about modern day humanity and so forth? No, 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 no. The people on TV, they go home. You know, people need to know. When you go to the studio, you're treated like a king or a queen with makeup and all the rest. They go home, everything's fine. Then they show up for the revolution in front of the camera. Then they go back home to their nice neighborhoods and so forth and so on. I'm just saying this. The greatest threat we face in this country right now is the American media and the Democrat Party, who are at war with our culture, at war with our society, and at war with our constitutional system.
Mark,